The Deputy President William Ruto went to United States last week and he spent some time in US and he addressed a delegation of UDA in diaspora. He winded up that tour for US on Saturday this week, and he went directly to UK. While in UK, he addressed a delegation in UK at a place called Chatham House. Chatham House is in United Kingdom. That is where William Ruto addressed his delegation, or let me put it this way, the people in diaspora, or Kenyans in diaspora. And during that address, I noted some important things. In that Chatham House in UK, William Ruto addressed some issues affecting Kenyans. And in this video, I want to dissect into those details, or what William Ruto addressed, which actually affect Kenyans. But before I go into all those details, if you are watching the channel for the first time and you have not yet subscribed, kindly just subscribe so that you will be part and parcel of the community supporting this channel. And I want to thank the subscribers. We are doing well. We are at 56. Maybe you are watching, you are supposed to be number 257. Just click the red button, kindly. Thank you. Now, let us now talk about what William Ruto addressed at Chatham House, London. There was quite a number of congregation in that Chatham House, and William Ruto first addressed the congregation, and then after addressing the congregation, normally what follows is questions. But before we go into the questions, let us first look at what William Ruto tried to address at Chatham House, London, UK. Number one, he addressed democracy. Remember, while in the United States, William Ruto said democracy in the Republic of Kenya is in trial. And while in Chatham, London, UK, the Deputy President William Ruto said that democracy should be followed. Rule of law should be followed in Kenya. And he said that democracy should be institutionalized, and that democracy should follow the Constitution of Kenya 2010. So William Ruto said democracy must, the ideals of democracy is to bring checks and balances. And then he said the Kenyan Constitution is very clear about the separation of powers. The Constitution mandates every department which is independent to exercise its authority independently. And he gave an example of the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. Those are the three arms of government. William Ruto made it clear that those three arms of government should be independent. No one should coerce the other one. For example, in this country, we know that the legislature has been captured by the executive, and in fact, the executive is working so hard to capture the judiciary, but the judiciary is very adamant, very strong. In fact, I want to commend the judiciary, the Republic of Kenya, because it has stood its ground despite the intimidation by the various political leaders despite the coercion, despite being denied funds to run its operations, William Ruto said judiciary funds should be implemented. So William Ruto talked about democracy, and he said democracy should be exercised according to the will of the people. Remember Article 1 of the Constitution that the supreme is the people. People are the supreme. And it belongs to the people and can only be exercised directly or indirectly. So William Ruto dealt with democracy at Chatham House, London, UK. The second thing William Ruto addressed is political culture. He said people should be allowed to choose their leaders. He said leaders should not be imposed to Kenyans. And he was very clear that in Kenya nowadays, we don't have the opposition. We don't know which one is the government. We said government is in opposition and opposition is in government. So in fact, he said it is quite of a strategy to have such a kind of government. And William Ruto said opposition should play their role of oversight. Remember, the role function or the sole function of opposition is to check the government, put the government in toss, so that everything which the government does, the watchdog should be the opposition. And he said it is unfortunate that in Kenya, the opposition is in bed with the government, and the government is in bed with the opposition. Another thing which William Ruto addressed was corruption. In fact, there is a lady who said she is the diaspora representative of Azimio Umoja. And he came out emotionally and asked the deputy president two questions. One of the questions was, what will he do differently to eliminate corruption? Number two, he also asked the deputy president that if he can accept when he will be defeated or when he loses the 2022 election. So the lady was emotional that we are losing a huge amount of money in Kenya through corruption. So the deputy president said the institution mandated to tackle corruption should be given the support. He mentioned DCI, he mentioned DPP and EACC. And he said that corruption should not be weaponized, say that for you to appear not to be corrupt, you should be sanitized by some quarter somewhere. William Ruto said the institutions fighting corruption should be independent, not be coerced by the executive. So corruption really appeared in that Chatham House address by the deputy president. Then number four, William Ruto talked about the economy. William Ruto said that the economy of Kenya should be democratic economy. The economy should start from the bottom. In fact, he said he intends to implement the bottom-up economic model. And William Ruto said that he will inject around 50 billion to MSMEs, that is the medium, micro, small enterprises. And he will inject so that the economy should start from the bottom, should be built from the bottom. He said the government, Kenya is a very rich country. And then he talked about agriculture. He said agriculture is really the backbone of the economy of Kenya. And he said the Kenyan farmers should be given subsidized fertilizers, subsidized seeds so that they grow. In fact, for now, DAP fertilizer costs around 6,000. that is exorbitant price. So William Ruto said farmers should be given the subsidies or what is required to do agriculture so that we can export, instead of importing. He said we import almost 80% of agricultural products, of which should not be the case. We should we should cultivate our own so that we will have available or enough food to feed our population. So William Ruto was very clear on those issues. So the issues which William Ruto addressed at Chatham House, London, UK include democracy, political culture, corruption, and economy in Kenya. I don't know what you think about those key points William Ruto made at Chatham House, London, UK. But if you're watching the channel for the first time, kindly just hit that red button so that you'll be part and parcel of the community. And I want to thank the subscribers for coming through. Thank you and enjoy your day.